Get ready. Your life will completely change in the next 7 days. God has already started. You know that feeling that something is about to happen? A stirring in the spirit, a silent call that echoes in the heart? That's what I want to share with you today. It was no coincidence that you are here reading these words. It was no coincidence that this title caught his attention. God is moving something powerful in your life, and I want you to be ready for what's coming. Imagine yourself on top of a mountain. The wind blows gently, carrying with it a mystery that you cannot explain. The horizon before you is vast, full of promise and possibility. You feel like something great is about to happen. And that's exactly it. Over the next 7 days, something extraordinary will begin to manifest in your life. God has already begun to act behind the scenes, and all you need to do is believe, trust, and prepare your heart. These 7 days will not be ordinary. They will be days of transformation, of answers, of signs. Maybe you've been waiting for a while, wondering when God's promises would finally be fulfilled. Maybe you felt like things weren't going as you expected, that challenges were piling up. But know this, nothing you faced was in vain. God has a perfect plan, and you are about to see the manifestation of that plan. The first day, the awakening. On the first day, you will start to notice the signs. It could be an unexpected word from someone, a feeling of peace in the midst of chaos, or even a simple coincidence that seems to align the pieces of the puzzle. This will be the day you feel an inexplicable certainty that God is in control. It will be the beginning of a journey of faith and trust like you have never experienced before. The second day, the connection. On the second day, something or someone will cross your path. It could be a person, an opportunity, or a message that seemed tailor-made for you. This will be the day you realize that God uses extraordinary ways to remind us that we are never alone. Stay tuned, because He will speak directly to your heart. The third day, the restoration. On the third day, what was broken will begin to be restored. It could be a relationship, a forgotten dream, or even your own faith, which has perhaps been shaken by the storms of life. God specializes in restoring what seems lost. He will bring healing, strength, and renewal. The fourth day, the opening. On this day, doors that were closed will begin to open. Perhaps you have knocked on several doors before without success. But now, God is opening those that no one else can close. Whether it's a professional opportunity, a financial solution, or even a new path to follow, this will be the day you see the impossible become possible. The fifth day, encouragement. You will feel a renewal in your soul. Something that felt heavy will begin to be lightened. It can be through a conversation, a moment of prayer, or even a pause to reflect. God is giving you strength to move forward. He is showing you that even in fights, you are stronger than you know. The sixth day, gratitude. On the sixth day, your heart will be overflowing with gratitude. You will begin to realize how much God has already done for you. Small blessings that previously went unnoticed will now shine as clear signs of His love. This will be a day of praise, of recognizing that, at all times, God never stopped taking care of you. The seventh day, the turn. And then the seventh day will come. The day everything will change. The day you will see the fulfillment of promises. Not because you deserve it, but because God is faithful. It will be a day of celebration, of victory, of testimony. But I want you to understand something important. God doesn't need 7 days to act. He is sovereign and can change everything in an instant. These 7 days are an invitation for you to prepare, to align your faith with what He is doing. Trust the process. Trust in God's timing. It has already begun, even if you don't see everything clearly yet. Believe because the best is yet to come. And now I ask, are you ready? Being ready doesn't mean having all the answers or being in complete control of everything. On the contrary, being ready is allowing God to take control and lead you. It is believing even when physical eyes cannot see, even when circumstances seem to contradict the promise. That's what faith is. Walking an unknown path knowing that God's hand is holding yours. But maybe you're wondering, what if I'm not prepared? What if I don't have enough faith? Let me tell you something. God does not expect perfection from you. He knows your heart, your doubts, your fears. He knows the tears you shed when no one was looking. And He also knows how to turn your weaknesses into strength. Throughout these 7 days, there will be times when you will be tested. Maybe thoughts of doubt arise, or even voices around you trying to discourage you. But remember, the enemy will always try to distract those who are close to receiving something great from God. He knows that when you achieve the purpose God has for your life, nothing can stop you. So here's the secret: praise. Even in moments when it seems difficult, praise. Thank God not just for what He will do, but for what He has already done. Praise is a powerful weapon. He disarms doubt, brings peace to the heart, and opens the heavens to miracles. Testimonies along the way. I want to share with you something that left a deep impression on me. I met a woman called Clara. She was going through an extremely difficult phase. His finances were in ruins. His marriage was on the verge of divorce, and his health was failing. She told me that one desperate night she heard clearly in her heart, "Get ready. Something big is coming." Clara didn't know what to do with that message. Everything around him seemed to be falling apart, but she chose to believe. In the days that followed, little things started to happen. An unexpected friend paid off a debt she never imagined she could pay off. A conversation with her husband, which previously seemed impossible, brought about the beginning of reconciliation. On the 7th day, Clara received a medical diagnosis that confirmed her cure from an illness that had tormented her for months. What happened to Clara was no coincidence. It was the manifestation of God's power. And what He did for her, He can do for you. The process is as important as the miracle. One of the most fascinating things about God is that He is not only interested in the destination, but also in the journey. He uses the process to shape us, strengthen us, teach us to trust Him in a deeper way. Have you ever noticed how a sculptor works? He doesn't take a block of marble and simply turn it into a work of art in an instant. He removes the unnecessary parts, little by little, until the hidden beauty begins to appear. God does the same with us. Sometimes He needs to remove things from our lives that are not part of His plan. It may be painful, but it is always for our good. So, if during these 7 days you feel like you are going through a moment of adjustment, don't despair. God is working. He is sculpting you for something greater, something you cannot yet imagine. God acts in the details. One of the most beautiful things about the way God works is that He cares about every detail of your life. From the big decisions to the smallest desires of your heart, He sees it all. There is no request too small, no dream too big for Him. Maybe you've been praying for something for a long time and still haven't seen an answer. I want to encourage you not to give up. God hears every prayer, even those made in silence with tears. He knows the exact moment to act. And remember, waiting is not a no. Sometimes it's just a not yet. During these 7 days, I want you to start paying attention to the little signs around you. It could be a word of encouragement, a door that opens, or even a feeling of peace in the midst of the storm. These signs are reminders that God is with you and that He is working, even when you can't see it. What to do during these 7 days? Now that you know your life is about to change, what can you do to prepare? Here are some suggestions. Pray without ceasing. Set aside time every day to talk to God. It doesn't have to be a long or elaborate prayer. Just open your heart. Read the Word. The Bible is full of promises that can strengthen your faith. Read, meditate, and hold on to these promises. Give thanks in advance. Start thanking God now, even before you see the answers. This demonstrates faith and trust in His plan. Share what God is doing, witness, even if it's something small. Talking about what God is doing in your life strengthens your faith and encourages others. Stay tuned. God speaks in many ways. Be open to hearing and recognizing His voice, whether through people, circumstances, or even a simple thought. The best is yet to come. These 7 days are just the beginning. They will mark the beginning of a new season in your life. God is preparing something much bigger than you can imagine. Don't be limited by what you see now. What He has for you is beyond what you asked or thought. So once again I ask, are you ready for what God is doing? Trust, believe, and prepare, because the change has already begun. Get ready. What is about to happen will take you to a new level of understanding, faith, and purpose. You may not even imagine the magnitude of what God is about to do, but know that He is already lining everything up perfectly. Each day that passes in these next 7 days will be an invitation for you to see life with different eyes, with the certainty that nothing is beyond the Creator's control. God transforms the storms. If you look at your life now, you may see challenges that seem like insurmountable mountains. It could be a financial situation that keeps you up at night, a family problem that seems to have no solution, or even an inner emptiness that you can't explain. But I want to remind you of something powerful. The storms we face are not the end. They are the perfect setting for God to show His strength and love. Remember Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, who walked on water in the middle of a storm. It was when he took his eyes off Jesus and looked at the wind and waves that he began to sink. But even so, Jesus was there to catch him and bring him back. That's what God does. He calls us to walk on water, to do the impossible, and even when we feel like we are sinking, He holds us up. In this 7-day period, you may experience some waves. But these waves are not there to destroy you. They are there to strengthen you. God not only calms the storms, but also teaches you to go through them with courage and faith. God's silence is also an answer. Perhaps you have experienced a time of silence. Those moments when it feels like your prayers are being ignored, like heaven is closed. But know this, God's silence is never absence. It is in these moments that He is working most deeply, adjusting what needs adjusting and preparing the ground for something greater. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, unjustly accused and forgotten in prison. For years, he lived in silence, not understanding what was happening. But God was preparing Joseph to rule Egypt and save his family from famine. What seemed like the end was, in fact, the beginning of something extraordinary. If you're facing a moment of silence, don't give up. Keep praying, keep trusting. Sometimes God uses silence to teach us to hear His voice in new ways. Every day brings a revelation. These 7 days are not just about the final miracle. They are about the process, the small changes that lead to the big result. Every day, God is revealing something new, a piece of the puzzle that has been missing. By the 4th or 5th day, you may begin to notice a clarity you didn't have before. It could be an idea, a new direction, or even an answer you didn't even know you were looking for. The important thing is to be sensitive to what God is showing you. Think about how flowers bloom. They don't open completely at once. Every day brings a little more color, a little more life. The same is true of God's plan for you. He is blossoming something incredible step by step. The importance of sharing your journey. As God begins to transform your life, you will notice the impact not only on you, but on those around you. Your words, your attitudes, even your inner peace will become living testimonies of what God is capable of doing. You may feel too small to make a difference, but remember, God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. It was like that with David, a simple shepherd who defeated a giant. It was like this with Esther, a young woman who saved a nation. And it will be like that with you. Share your story. Tell people how God has worked in your life, not only to glorify God, but also to encourage others who are facing their own struggles. Sometimes your testimony can be the answer someone needs to believe that God can also work in their life. God's plans are greater. I don't know what your dreams are, but I know that God's plans for you are even greater. He sees beyond what you see. He knows what's best for you, even when it doesn't make sense. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." These 7 days are living proof that He is carrying out these plans. You may not see everything now, but keep trusting, because at the right time, everything will be revealed. Prepare for something unexpected. What if I told you that the greatest gift of these 7 days might not be what you were expecting? God has a unique way of surprising us. He not only answers our prayers, it exceeds our expectations. Maybe what He has prepared for you is much greater than what you asked for. Maybe it's something you didn't even know you needed. Whatever it is, one thing is certain. It will be good, because everything that comes from God is good. So now is the time. Prepare your heart. Prepare your mind. These 7 days are not just a period of waiting, but of transformation. God is moving heaven and earth for you. He is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances so that everything works perfectly at the right time. And at the end of these 7 days, you will no longer be the same. You will be someone renewed, full of faith, hope, and purpose. Because when God acts, He doesn't just transform situations, He transforms people. And now I ask again, are you ready for what God has already started? And now the choice is yours. Are you willing to embrace these next 7 days with faith, courage, and an open heart? God has already begun to act, and the heavens are moving in His favor. Changes can come like a gentle breeze or like a storm that renews everything around you. But one thing is certain. Your life will never be the same. So get ready. This is the time to trust, to give your worries to God and walk with the certainty that He is in control. Great things are coming, and you will witness how God can transform stories, rewrite destinies, and accomplish the impossible. If this message touched your heart, if you felt the power of God calling you to something greater, don't keep it just to yourself. Subscribe to the channel right now to continue receiving words of faith and inspiration. Hit the like button and share this message with those you love, friends, family, and anyone who needs a refresh in their lives. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any powerful content that God is putting in our path. You are part of something much bigger than you can imagine, and together we can spread this message of hope and transformation. May God richly bless your life, and remember, He has already begun the work, and the best is yet to come. See you in the next video. May God bless you abundantly,